Hey, what's up? Finally getting to do our first little work on the car, Cobalt, here in the garage. I got my boy Judd on the way. I get out of the sun. A couple other guys, we're gonna do some work on the Cobalt. I got my welder and my grinder ready to go. Probably gonna be starting on clearing up some of these seams, grinding off some of these extra brackets that we don't need, smoothing out some of this stuff, and just kind of getting a game plan of what exactly needs to happen next. So looking forward to some pretty good progress today. And the first bracket is off. That one will be next to come off. I'm gonna be relocating coolant reservoir. Oops, without spilling it everywhere. So this bracket's gonna come off. That was the other mount for the coolant reservoir. This is the mount for the strut for the hood. And then this is gonna be ground down as well. This little indentation here. Well, I said I was gonna film. I ended up not filming. But we got some good work done yesterday, and I'm working a little bit more today. It's the next day. So check it out. The little man. I took off this bracket here, same thing on the other side there, ground it down. And part of what you do during this tuck and shave is you seal up the seams. So what happens is you go in here and you tack it all the way up, all the way across. And that's really just to give it some structure, give it some strength. That way when you add Bondo to smooth it out, it won't crack and nothing will happen to it because those plates aren't gonna move around relative to each other. The second part, which we've done a little bit of already, there were studs right here, right there, and right there that were unused. But those get ground down. So that's pretty easy to do. You cut them off, grind them down, whatever you wanna do. Then the next part is filling in holes. As you can tell, I'm not the best welder, but these holes were the same as these over here. So fill those in, same thing here. Be sure to mark which ones you still need. I did that because we're gonna need clips to hold the grill on. But that's pretty much what we're doing. So I'll film a little bit as far as, going along the process, but it's kind of just the same thing. Weld and grind and weld and grind. Cut things off, like this guy's gonna be going away too, that little stud there. So yeah, that's kind of part of what we're doing. And we're back in the garage again. I'm pretty sure this is just gonna be a longer video of multiple days going into the shave part where I'm doing welding and grinding. I figured it'd be easier than trying to do a bunch of different videos of doing the same thing. So this one may take a little longer to come out, but, oh, also, look at that, some bright lights. So shout out to my man Hav. Hooked it up with these 5 8-foot LED strips. What are you doing? It makes a huge difference when working. I'll insert a picture right here of how I had to mount a headlight on the welding hood prior to welding before because I couldn't see where I was about to start welding with the auto darkening. I do have to hook up the lights, wire them into the switch there, but they came with these little connectors with switches on them. So I'm temporarily hooking them up. Hopefully by this weekend, I'll get something going with that. That way, all I have to do is flip a switch and have all 5 of these lights on. So a little bit of an update on what I've done today. There were a couple of cracks here. So we're realizing, I knew this car had front end damage whenever we bought it, but I think there's a little more damage than what we initially thought. So as you can see here, there's a crack that goes across, another something that's gonna have to get ground down and welded. There were a couple pieces here that needed to be taken care of. And again, with the disclaimers, obviously I am not the best welder. But I'm kind of making do with what I got. Luckily, you know, this isn't meant to be exposed welding, and I'm actually gonna grind everything down and put Bondo over it. So I'm kind of going in with the mindset of do your best and Bondo the rest. So we've done more seam welding, tack welding, a couple more holes, and there was a bracket here. Another hole plugged, another hole plugged. Today though, the main thing I'm focusing on is this plate right here. So as you can see, this was a big hole in the bay. Pretty obvious. This is where the washer fluid reservoir ran through. I had a plate of steel here that I had bought at Home Depot. Traced it out with a Sharpie and just cut it very rough. I just cut it very rough with the angle grinder, cut off wheel, and kind of smoothed it out with a flat disc. And it fits in there pretty nicely. I think I'm gonna go ahead and tack in around the back there and then all the way around here. It is lifted up a little bit on this side, but I'm hoping once I get a couple tacks on there, I'll just be able to hammer it down. Okay, completely different day. Ran out of wire last time. I just went in and did some more welding, finally finished it up. I got a new spool of wire. Had a little bit of issues with it because I'm so new to this welding stuff. I was not familiar with tensioning on the spring. That little guy right there. So I think whenever I put the new spool in, I spun that wing nut a little bit too tight. And so anytime I hit a stop that tried to stop the wire, it kept pushing and caused a kink in the wire, and ultimately making me have to tear apart this assembly to pull the wire out. And it took a lot of time, frustrating, but we got it done. Just so you know, I think just from looking at a couple videos, one trick of the trade is that what you want to do is get it to where you can just barely hold on to the wire without it slipping. So as you can see here, it's pushing past what I can hold with my fingers. So loosen that wing nut all the way, hold it. If you can hold the wire and prevent the drive from pushing it and it just spins on the wire in the machine, then it's too loose. And so you tighten it up little by little until it starts pushing like you just saw. And right about that time is where it's perfect. So now if it runs into a stop, obviously I can't hold it with my hand, but if it hits a stop, it'll still slip. It'll be just enough force to let it slip. That way your wire doesn't kink up in the liner. But ultimately, this is what we got here. So you probably saw before what it looked like with the hole there, and now I welded up. I welded up all the way around. With these holes, it's just a lot of tack welding. Same with the seams, it's just tack welding. But I went all the way around. Obviously it's super rough. I'm still new to this, trying to figure out some settings and get things figured out, but it serves its purpose. I'm gonna grind down those welds anyways, and they're gonna be bondoed over, so it's good enough for me for now. So this is me officially closing out the first part of the engine bay shave video. A lot has happened since the last clip that I recorded, but I wanted to close it out officially. That way I can upload this video. You can kind of see the progress that it's made. As you'll be able to tell now, we've already removed the engine. So the next video after this you'll see is us removing the engine. And so it'll be a little bit to show exactly how it was done. A little bit of a step-by-step. I don't think I missed anything too major, but this is where it's at right now. So I appreciate you guys checking out this video. Keep an eye out on the next one. I believe I have it pretty much fully recorded, so it's just a matter of editing it and uploading it. And so we'll see you in that one soon. Thanks for checking this one out, and we'll see you next time. Peace.